Good day, morning or evening to everyone and welcome back to Katatu Plays, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today's video is my second The Ranch of Rivershine video. After the first video I made, I had a little break. I didn't yet get the motivation to this game, but then at some point, a bit later, I got a huge motivation on this game and I have been playing this for 68 hours now. And whilst I was playing, I really didn't have the motivation to record. I've been playing this here and there while I'm having a break from work or something. So I really wasn't feeling on like doing a real gameplay, but I still wanted to show my progress on this game. So I've been recording a little clips here and there where I'm doing something important or interesting in the game. Let's just jump straight into the video. Last time I tried to get my second horse, but I didn't get it yet. But the next time I played, I got my second horse finally, and it is this black mare that I called Lotus. So here's a little peek on her. I gave her this pink set, and yeah, that's basically it. I was playing through the story a little bit. At some point, I went to get a slightly better horse from the auction house. Here you can see me scrolling through all of the horses. We finally get something that I'm interested in. It is this light bay stallion called Mighty Spirit, and he had quite a lot of potential, more than any horse that I've seen this far, so I bought him. Here he is. I'm quickly taking care of him and then making him attack set. And what color would fit him well? Maybe yellow or... oh, actually green. Green might look good. Here I opened the wild horse quest and I had my first wild horses spawn in the pine forest. Here you can see me gathering my first wild horses, and then because my horse was pretty slow, I was just checking them as I brought them here. And if it wasn't like fantastic, then I went to get more of the horses that I was interested in, and then I checked them. Here you can see me checking all the horses once again and trying to make a decision on what horse I should get. I was considering between this Black Tobiano and the Light Palomino stallions, but I ended up with the Light Palomino because I already had a black horse, Lotus, that was my mare, and I wanted some more color in there, so I chose the Light Palomino, and his name is Agile River. I'm gonna change the names at some point, usually. If it's a horse that I just catch because there is wild horses and it doesn't have good stats and I'm not really interested in keeping for breeding or something, then I might just keep the name, but all horses that I will like keep for a bit or that I really like, I will name. And here I didn't yet have the round pen opened, so I had to have our first training session on the training arena. And it was kind of painful because he was so stubborn. He started trotting, but he didn't start cantering or galloping after that for quite a while. And now that I'm more advanced in the game, oh boy, that was painful to train the horses in the training arena. I'm glad I'm over that. So I was just training my horses. I wanted to use all of their potential for breeding to get the best fall possible. And then of course continuing the story. Here I finally got the round pen. The next day I got the wild horse, I think, if I remember correctly. And the next quest was Gold Charm. And these were the next quests in order after where we left off in the last video. But after that I haven't recorded every single quest, mostly like some races and something that is not that important. But most of them I have recorded, and that's why this video is pretty long, at least when I'm editing it. So here I'm getting the round pen quest from River, or completing it. And right after River I went to speak to Madeleine about the glowing statue. This is the second statue I get glowing, of course. This was the one in the middle. So I rode my best horse this far and got the 5% speed for Mighty Spirit. After that I went to check the round pen to train and tame Agile River a little bit, and oh boy, this was a lot less painful than just riding in the training area with untamed horse. I quite like the round pen. It is very useful with the wild horses and the foals. It could maybe train the horses a bit faster in my opinion. At the end of this day, here is every horse I have. I currently have for my first wild horse, Agile River. My second horse I bought, a mare called Lotus. And here is my first horse, Gold Moon, and then Mighty Spirit that currently has the most potential. Of course, after the wild horse. Okay, then I was playing for quite a bit. Nothing really interesting happened. Here you can see that I have a lot more horses currently. I think I had my stable pretty much full at that point. And why I was recording today? Because my first foal has born. Of course I used Lotus as a mare. I bred her before I got better mares and horses. And of course I wanted to breed my first mare, even though the foal will not be amazing at this point. So let's go take a peek on this cute little foal. It's a black bay and filly, and oh, the name is Baby Sprout. That is so cute. Very, very suitable for my first ever foal. Now let's go take a better look on all of the horses I have in my stable. Let's start with this first one on the right, called Pure Blizzard. He's a stallion, light chestnut roan Sabino, and he was a wild horse. Next one here is Bright Thunder, Flaxen Sandy Chestnut Sabino mare, also a wild horse I caught. She does have slightly better stats, and already back then I was thinking that I'm probably gonna breed her at some point. It really depends where I get the stats while training. And then here is Agile River, the first wild horse I caught. I hadn't yet trained him fully back then. It was very, very slow to train the horses at the start because I didn't have any of the arenas like the speed arena, endurance arena. I didn't yet have that, so training the horses was very slow at the start. Here is this double chestnut stallion that was my current favorite. I called him Flame, and he also had quite good stats back then and was a horse that I definitely want to breed at some point when I get him trained. And Flame was probably the second wild horse I caught. Next horse is Bison, double liver chestnut stallion. He was at that point my best horse. And then next is Mouse, my second favorite back then, a double coal black overall mare, and she also has potential to be quite good at the early game, of course. And the last horse in the stable is this light bay Topian stallion called Spark. He was also a wild stallion, and I think I will not be keeping Spark. The herd I caught, I checked every single horse and they were also bad, so Spark will not be a champion or anything. But yeah, let's continue with the guests. I had this Liam's gift. He wanted me to collect a little gift for the forest statue, so did that. And I always try to complete the quests on the day I get them, so I don't miss anything and I can get further in the game quicker. Here is the first training session with my first foal, Baby Sprout, on the second day since he was born. And sorry, she is a filly. 10 more quests. I needed to place first in the Pine Forest Intermediate race. So, as you can maybe guess, I was opening the intermediate stuff here. And this was a very hard race. I tried like 3 times and I wasn't able to win the first place. So I had to try that race many times to get it done. Next time I recorded, Baby Sprout had grown up, and as you can see, she's alone in the stall, so I sold her mother Lotus. That was my second horse I bought. Lotus was a very beginner horse. I used all her potential, so I sold her. And I'm also gonna sell Baby Sprout, because at this point I have intermediate horses that are better than her. I'm gonna take care of her for the first time, and then I'm gonna do every race with her, so she gets all the ribbons and her value races, so it makes a bit more sense to sell her. And I'm not gonna show you every single race I did, but I did that. And I don't think I was able to do every single race during that one day, so the next day I had gotten the Crystal Lake Intermediate race, so I did it with Bison. At this point I had fully trained Bison, but I was able to get the first place pretty easily and complete that quest. Here I am gonna go sell some horses that are fully trained. Let's start with Baby Sprout. Let's see what we get from her. We got 14k, that's actually very good. Here I opened the intermediate wild horse pens, so you can see my first possible intermediate horses here. There was quite a lot of nice coats, and of course all of them had like only one intermediate stat. Thankfully the last horse I checked, called Natural Cyclone, this blue roan Sabino mare, had 2 intermediate stats. Of course I ended up adopting her, and before going to check my new wild horse, I went to the Crystal Lake statue with Bison to gain 5% jump, and then going to check my new wild horse, and she should be the best horse that I own currently, because she has full potential. She was named Natural Cyclone. Let's just name her Cyclone. And I really like the coat. I think I'm gonna keep her for now. And gonna go have the first training session, or actually taming session, with her in the round pen. So with this horse I really need to focus on the speed stats. Endurance and jumping were intermediate stats, so speed and flexibility. Well, flexibility isn't that bad compared to the speed. Next thing, I opened the retirement pasture, and at this point my stable was getting full, and I had some horses that I had maxed that weren't that good for breeding anymore. First horse I retired was Flame, this double chestnut stallion I got in pretty early game. I had used all of his potential and gotten better horses already, so I retired him. He really was a horse I was really attached to, so I really didn't want to sell him. So instead I retired him. Next wild horse I caught is Cole. Will be a full intermediate horse, and seems like I had finally opened the training arenas and mountain, of course, because I was able to go there and had the flexibility arena already. I'm planning to breed Cole at some point. And more wild horses I've caught. A stallion called Hare, that is a very good one. All the stats are already over 35% and he has about half of the potential left. And I was training the horses so that the stats would be equal, so not like that the speed is 20% and endurance is 40%. I was trying to get them all to pretty much same, for example 35%. So they are very balanced horses, I could say. More questing, Rivershine intermediate course. I must say that was a very hard race to do the first time, because it goes all over next to these houses and shops. And overall the town races are a bit harder than any other races, I think. There is so many sharp turns and tight places where you need to go. And this wasn't the first time I tried this race, definitely not, because I was able to win it here and complete the quest. And more wild horses. I'm probably gonna cut a lot of the sketching and getting wild horses off if they are not like an important horse later on or very good horse, because yes, I have got a lot of wild horses and I don't think it's necessary to show you every single one, but this one I'm gonna show you because I chose to adopt this fully intermediate light bay roan mare. And she was called Vibrant Tornado, and I decided her name to be Vibe. I gave her a green tag set and went to have our first training session. There definitely was a huge potential that Vibe was gonna be one of my best horses at that point. Then here I got my second foal. I bred Mouse and I think Flame, and this foal is a perfect mixture of those two. Double dark chestnut overo. He is a little colt and called Bubbly Orange. And that is actually the name I stick with. Pretty close after Moose had her foal, my mare Bright Thunder had a foal. And as you can maybe tell from the name, she's not a horse that I'm gonna keep, but I wanted to breed her to get a better status foal, because she had quite good stats. And here is the foal, a little filly, flaxen light chestnut Sabino. And at this point I'm not sure who is the father, maybe Hare? Well, we will check that later. And the little foal's name was Wispy Tea. Next day I got a guest river crossing. It was my first advanced competition in the pine forest. And also this foal Bubbly Orange had grown up. And as you can see, I don't have any free staples for it. So I need to decide what to do. I also need a space for the wild horse. And this was quite hard decision. Nobody was really ready for selling except Mouse, but I liked Mouse way too much. So instead I decided to retire her, and there she is. I had also a retired bison, so there is 3 horses in the retirement pasture now. Then I went to check Bubbly Orange and assigned him a stable. And wait, no, his father is not Flame, the father is Bison. And I'm still messing this up even though I checked it back then. I still remember that the father is Flame because Flame was double chestnut, so it would make sense. But no, the father is actually Bison. So I don't know where the chestnut came in a mixture of this brown and grey horse. But yeah, he's grown up and I will be training him. This day quite a lot happened. The third foal grew up. This one that was named Wispy Tea, but I just named her Tea. She is now a young adult. And this one has Flame as a father. And mother was Bright Thunder, the Washy Sabino that I didn't end up keeping, but her foal Tea instead has quite good stats, so I'm definitely gonna train Tea up and see if I'm gonna keep her, breed her, or what I'm gonna do with her. Here I finally completed the first advanced race. I was finally able to get the first place, so gonna go talk to Madeleine about that and getting some extra money, 5,000 this time, that's pretty good. Continuing to show you some of these quests. This was actually my second advanced competition that I was pretty surprised because usually you get the medal before Crystal Lake race, but I got Crystal Advance first. So I completed it with first place with this horse called Cole, and overall because I think she was my best horse at that point and I was trying to get her the ribbons. And yes, completed that race successfully. Went to talk to Madeleine to get my reward. Yeah, you can see me riding Bubbly Orange, my second ever foal, the very cute colt. Some more foals. The foal is exactly like her mother. She has the same coat pattern and the same color. Or wait, she actually might be a little bit darker. Cyclone is blue roan Sabino and the foal is black roan Sabino, so yes, slight difference there. And the foal is behind a tree. I really cannot take a look on him, but he's called Fluffy Tea, and that's definitely a name I'm not gonna keep, but we'll decide on that later. So at this point I was training most of my horses up, and then if they were good enough I was breeding them to maybe get better foals and better horses overall. So here I bred Tea and Bubbly Orange, my second and third foal together. Oh, of course I was getting a lot of foals at that point. Here Wipe had a foal. Let's go see the foal. Yeah, she has a coat that I am not a big fan of. This looks kind of weird for me. It's the roan Sabino coat and dark bay this time. She's a filly called Fluffy Squirrel. Then I also got a message that Tea is pregnant with Bubbly Orange, so let's remove the horses. And I'm gonna show you the tag set I actually made for Bubbly Orange. He is now fully trained, but he also grown to an adult from a young adult, so now I could do the intermediate and maybe even advanced races with him. Yes, I can do the advanced races. And yes, about his tag set, I chose the color orange. I like to color match. I used the orange riding blanket and other orange pieces of tag that I had. I didn't have that many orange items yet. And then I used brown bridle and saddle. I really liked Bubbly Orange and I wanted to train him a bit further, so I was riding him around quite a lot to collect extra potential points here and there. And yeah, I also completed the Meadow Advance race with Bubbly Orange. It was the first race I did with him, after the beginner races of course. And continuing, Vibrant Squirrel had a foal, so another wild horse, or originally wild horse. I wasn't buying horses from the auction at all because they don't have full potential, and I was able to get pretty good horses from the wild, and I was more trying to make money than spend money. And because I was able to do the races with the wild caught horses, I didn't really need to go buy horses from the auction. Here I opened the Rocky Mountain Advanced race, and I'm gonna try to do it with Vibe. I think Vibe was my best horse at that point, because I hadn't yet finished training the better ones, the more advanced horses I had. But I was thinking that Vibe should be able to do the race. And of course my recorder cut out here, so you couldn't see right before the finishing line. So sadly you didn't see me actually finishing in the first place. But that's one more quest done. At that point I also had finished training some horses, so going to the auction house to sell. I was able to sell the mother of code Cyclone, so that's what I did. And Cyclone started from 24k. That was already a huge raise from the beginner horses, and in the end I got 26,000 from selling Cyclone. I also had trained more horses and now they were ready to be sold, so I sold Cole, this Cole Black Stallion. I used him for breeding, but now I had better horses. Sold Cole, got 29,000 from him, which was very great. And the third horse I sold was Ocean, Smoky Cream Tobiano Stallion. This was originally wild horse from a wild horse batch that wasn't that good. There was literally just beginner horses. So yes, I just had to choose one horse and it happened to be this one. Now that the mother Cyclone is sold and I sold some other horses, so I have space in my stable finally. Let's go take a closer look on the foal that grew up code. So yes, he's this Black Roan Sabino Stallion, or colt at this point. And as you can see, he still has quite a lot of potential to go. I was training him as a foal, of course, but he has good stats and has potential to be a good horse. Giving him attack sets. Let's go with this teal set, it suits him well. And completing more quests. This was one of the advanced races, I think. At that point it was just really doing the races as they opened. Nothing too interesting happened until I got the legendary auction quest, and I finally opened the legendary horses in the auction. So of course I wanted to go check auction right away, because I didn't yet have the expert wild horses opened, so I could go get myself an expert horse from the auction. But first let me sell Smoke. Got only 23,000 from her. And yes, I am gonna check the auction and what horses are available there. Okay, Perfect Hazel, just done Appaloosa. First Appaloosa I see very nice coat. She's a mare, that is a plus. She doesn't have that much potential, but she's almost fully trained. Oh, and she has the skill to earn potential points. So I am definitely gonna get this horse. She cost me 27,000. The legendary horses are quite a lot more expensive than the previous horses, but now I have an expert horse. And here is, by the way, one of the foals I got from Wipe, and father is Cole. He also has potential to be, I think, even an expert horse, but the thing is, I really don't like the coat. And here T finally had a foal, and seems like it has the same coat as her or his mother. Oh, it's a little filly. Soft Teddy, that's a cute name. The only difference to the mother is actually that this foal has a bald face. And yes, it's a foal of T and Bubbly Orange, two very important horses for me. They were my second and third foals I bred, so I really think Soft Teddy will grow up on me. Then selling more horses. Vibrant Squirrel. She was just an intermediate horse, I think, or maybe even advanced. Not too special, and at that point I had better horses. Then I went to check the legendary auction again to maybe get a perfect stallion for Hazel, the mare I got. And here he is, called Vast Beauty, light bait and overrow stallion. And his stats were over 80% already, except endurance was 78, but close. And he had a lot of potential, 53% left. So I definitely bought him for almost 32,000. But at least now I have a horse that will probably be max stats. And actually yes, now that I think he will be max stats. I just named him Vast instead of Vast Beauty. First training sessions with Vast. I already had second updated all of these arenas, so I was able to train my horses a lot quicker. Then something sad happened. This young colt coat somehow ended up on the other side of the fence. And I really didn't know what to do. I wasn't able to interact with him, get him out or anything. So he was stuck there for a while until I was able to get the second pasture update. I had other things I needed to spend money first, so this poor horse was stuck there for so long. Thankfully I had used all of his potential before this happened, so that didn't go to waste. But it was very sad. He was just all alone there. And here is the part I was finally able to get my first pasture update. So I bought that from Liam, completed the race quest with Madeleine, went to retire Bubbly Orange because I'm really attached to that horse. Definitely not the best one anymore, so I retired him. I really didn't want to sell him, so he's there now with his father Bison and mother Mouse. And of course Flame is there still. This is a pretty recent update, but they updated our character. I was very surprised when I logged in, because I didn't read the news or anything. But yes, this is how we look now. This was the boutique update that also updated our character a little bit. And yes, Pure Thunder had a foal. Double Ash Black Plus foal. That is a colt called Little Cherry. And the father is Bubbly Orange. Of course, I went to check the boutique with the new NPC. It is Daphne Woolsey, and she's selling clothing items for our character. Yeah, it's a nice add to the game, in my opinion. Then I had made the decision to sell Bubbly Orange, because I needed more space in my retirement pasture, and my stable was already fully upgraded. So sadly I had to sell Bubbly Orange. In the end, of the horses that were in the retirement pasture, I wasn't that attached to Bubbly Orange. There was something off on his coat. Maybe it was the butcher face that I wasn't that big fan of. So I went and sold Bubbly Orange and we got 30,000 from him. Here's the Appaloosa mare Hazel that I bought from the auction. As you can see, her stats are quite good already. So I decided I will try to max her, but for that I need to collect some potential points for her. But here in this video clip I went to do the Rocky Mountain expert race, that I think was my first expert race, if I am not mistaken. And with Hazel I was easily able to win it. Then I finished training some horses, and amongst those I decided to sold the, as you maybe realize, I have horses that will be able to be 100% expert horses. So the horses that are not gonna be expert will need to go. T was one of them, and then these foals, Bunny and Squirrel. That I still to this day remember that they both were stallions, but they were actually mares. And yes, I completed the mountain race, got it done. Here, Soft Teddy the foal has grown up to a young adult, and I had wild horses on Rocky Mountain that day. But first let's go check Soft Teddy. Here she is. She's actually quite cute. Oh, I really like her. Still some potential left. Yeah, this is probably a horse I want to keep at least for a while. And then I finally remembered I got the pasture update and I can go free code. I had forgotten code in the back pasture. Today I think it's grew up to an adult. I got the notification and remembered that he's still stuck there. So I finally went to free code. poor baby was stuck there for so long. Now I was finally able to get him when I got the second pasture update. So yes, finally got him back to the stable. Then I went to check the wild horses, and at this point I had bought the expert wild horse pen, or advanced. I'm not sure what the best pen is called. I would say expert. So tell me why I was getting beginner and intermediate stat horses. I got no advanced, I got no expert horses in here, and I have no clue why. I had bought the update many days ago, so I don't know what was wrong here. I just had to take one of the horses, and yes, I did gather every single horse and check them, but all of them were beginner or intermediate. Since that, I haven't had that happening to me again, thank God, but that was definitely weird. 10 more horses, this time on Crystal Lake. Here is this very potential chestnut roan Sabino mare called Rebel Fox with 2 advanced and 2 expert stats. And I adopted her because she has potential to maybe be 100%. I think she should. But yeah, continuing. So at that point I was working on the horses I had, trying to spend their potential and also get Vast and Hazel, the advanced horses, expert horses, to 100% with every stat. And here I was doing the expert race in Meadow with Hazel, of course, finishing in first place and completing the quest that way. I had finished training some horses like Pure Thunder, so I was able to sell her. At this point I really started selling every horse that wasn't expert horse or didn't have potential to be expert horse. And I didn't really have attachment on those horses, because I was getting quite a lot of wild horses at that point. For some reason, I got them like every other day. So I got a lot of horses, trained a lot of horses, and didn't get attached to any of them. And I also decided to sell Code, the poor little baby that was stuck on the closed pasture for so long. And the last horse I sell here was Dark Chestnut Roan stallion called Lake. Nothing special there. And also the foal that was born after Soft Teddy, they grew up to a young adult, this one called Little Cherry. So I went to take care of him and gave him a tag set, and I made the tag set white with a unicorn horn. I got attached to Little Cherry very quickly, and I was planning on trying to get him to expert stats, maybe 100% him. Then I bred my first expert horses, Vast and Hazel. At this point they were not 100%ed yet, but all the potential was used, so I bred them. Did some more expert race quests, because those are the only quests I got at that point. Then finally winter arrived. I got the Rivershine Town expert race and also wild horses on Rocky Mountain that day, but let's see. I'm glad this winter is not too white, it's this bluish white instead. So it's not just too bright all over, but I am having some struggles when riding around. It is not that pleasant for the eyes. Let's go in the stable. Here is this newest wild horse I called Rebel Fox, and she's very close to being 100%ed. She still has some potential left, but I'm gonna do the expert Rivershine Town race with her. I was already expecting a very hard race before I even tried to do it, because the Rivershine Town races are so hard for some reason. They make us go through such teeny tiny caps and make 90-degree turns, and yes, those are definitely the hardest races, and this expert race was something else. It is probably the hardest race in the game this far. I was not enjoying it the first time, and I'm still not enjoying it. I am able to do it now, but wow, the first times were a struggle. But yes, I was able to complete it with the first place using Rebel Fox. Next, the foal of Hazel and Vast was born. It is this Baden Overo colt named Fuzzy Flame, and you can already see the stats. They are very good and the potential is 100%, so this will definitely be 100%ed. And I thought the foal has the same coat color as the father, but when I actually went to check it, it is not the same. There is a slight difference, and I'm very happy about that because I will probably be keeping Vest forever and this fall too. And then I 100%ed Rebel Fox. All the stats are 100% now, so let me go breed her. And I also 100%ed Vast. So this should be a perfect foal. It hasn't yet born when I'm editing this video, but I am very excited about that. There was a big gap between wild horses. It was so many days I didn't get any wild horses at all. But then finally I got wild horses on Rocky Mountain, and I was so anxious because last time Mountain just gave us beginner and intermediate stats for some reason. But this time, thank God, it gave me expert and advanced stats. And this batch wasn't as perfect as the last batch where I got Rebel Fox with 2 advanced and expert stats, but there was this Flaxen Double Chestnut Stallion with 2 expert stats, 1 advanced and then 1 intermediate stat. Then the foal of Hazel and Vast grew up. I was of course training him as a foal every day since the second day he was born, and I almost got him fully trained before he even grew up to young adult. He still ended up having a little bit more training to go, so on the first day when he grew up to a young adult I was able to 100% him, and he still has 41% potential left. So that is my first very expert perfect foal. And yes, I think that is it for this video. I'm trying to speed up through this pretty quickly, so you could see some of my progress in the game, and I am planning on doing a shopping spree next time, so I want to get this out of the way now. Please tell me your opinions about this kind of videos. Do you like that I am like not doing a gameplay where I just sit down and I play this session? Is it okay to you if I do these videos on some games where I show you my progress slowly when I'm playing? So this basically goes pretty much from the beginning of the game to where I'm now. I am just trying different video styles because if I have motivation for some game, I'm sitting there for like 6 hours a day, multiple days a week. I am definitely not gonna record every single time. Well, here you could have missed so much. Last video was first trying the game and now I'm already at expert level. But I understand this might be a bit messy to some people, and some people would prefer me just recording gameplays and not showing everything. So this is just a test. That do you like to see these like progress videos where you can see clips of everything interesting that happened or me completing quests? Overall, any feedback on this video on my channel, any game suggestions and everything like that is welcome. Please remember to like this video and subscribe my channel if you haven't already, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Until that, bye bye!